There is no doubt that you have seen some of these video clips being shared on the internet featuring presidential candidate Joe Biden, also former vice president.
Are you at all concerned, as Trump said, that we cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself?
We have to take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse no matter what. No matter what. We know what has to be done. But I'm not able to go down and hug him and kiss him, which I usually do. Excuse me.
You know, you're supposed to cough into your elbow. I don't know, sir. I learned that actually covering your White House.
Actually, that's true, but that's okay.
There are so many to choose from. In fact, every time he has a media appearance of any kind, he seems to make a spectacle of himself. A few weeks ago, he was confronted by a union worker, and the clip went viral. As much of a bad look as that might seem, here's a clip from Joe Biden's appearance on CNN, where he was seen coughing into his hand. I'm not going to draw any conclusions, maybe he was just clearing his throat, you never know. But what I did find interesting was that this account, Breaking 911, was suspended after sharing it. This is an official news account. Of course, they're not on cable news, so apparently they don't have the same protections put in place that a lot of these mainstream outlets seem to have. Here's them tweeting this out here. Joe Biden tells CNN's Jake Tapper that he has not been tested as he coughs directly into his hand. One of the people who was commenting on this tweet noticed that the tweet was no longer available. And that is because Breaking 911 was suspended from Twitter, probably for spreading misinformation. A reminder that Chinese state media accounts are allowed to spread propaganda and misinformation, and they never get banned. But if you say something that is contrary to what is considered public opinion, or maybe you make a video making fun of a politician like Nancy Pelosi, you slow it down a little bit for the purpose of mockery, and wouldn't you know it, but Facebook and Twitter and sometimes YouTube as well will work to shut it down because it's spreading misinformation. But when you have a foreign agent like China, one that is responsible for more atrocities than I could even think of to list, they're allowed to spread lies unencumbered by troublesome things like terms of service or human decency. But here's where things get interesting. Not only is there no misinformation being present, it's merely the sharing of a clip that was shared on cable news. But more to the point, I went and checked to see if Breaking 911 was being shadow banned on Twitter. And sure enough, Breaking 911 has reply deboosting, ghost ban, a search ban, a search suggestion ban, all for posting what appear to be undoctored clips of cable news. Wouldn't you know it though, state-ran media from China does not receive the same treatment. This is at CGTN Official. They are a Chinese state media outlet that I believe operates out of the UK. So Chinese state media does not get censored or even shadow banned or throttled. Legitimate news, however, is actively being suppressed. The Twitter account has been reinstated, but they lost their verification badge and all of their followers. So if you were following the account at Breaking 911 on Twitter, you will have to go and refollow them. You'll notice that it's always independent news that they go after. Not even state-ran media from a hostile third power is considered troublesome. Another thing that I would like to point out is that CGTN was one of those first accounts to start promoting this idea that we needed to come up with a new term for redacted because it was mean to their nation. Keep in mind, almost all of these news outlets right now are completely silent when it comes to the plight of the Chinese people versus their government. Right now, there have been 7 million cell phones that have stopped being used in China. 7 million. This isn't like in America where you can just go and get a new phone number, and a new service. Over there, you're in for life. Everything you post and look up on your phone will be connected to your actual identity over in China. Probably something similar will be implemented over here very shortly. Because of this, if 7 million users over there suddenly disappear in the middle of the night, it's not that they just went and got a new phone. Something else is happening. Where are the 7 million? No doubt you have been lectured time and time again about people who have died long before you were born, and yet we have a larger number in this day and age right now, and no one seems to care. All of those people who claim to care so much about people. Oh my god, this thing that happened 100 years ago. Oh my god, this thing that happened 150 years ago. They'll constantly bring that up, but when there's an actual issue right now affecting millions upon millions of people, they just pretend that nothing's even happening. They just don't even care. How come these 7 million Chinese that have gone missing, how come no one seems to care? How come there is no news coverage at all? But every day when I wake up, I have to turn on the TV and be lectured again about something I didn't even do. And then these same people who are lecturing us about these things that happened 50, 100, 150 years ago, they remain silent, eerily silent in fact, when people right now, by the millions, are going missing. Why aren't the Chinese considered the same value as everybody else? Aren't all human beings equal? I guess it's true after all. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Can you imagine this amount of damage control being instituted by any organization on our behalf? You remember that video of Nancy Pelosi going viral, and immediately these tech companies started taking it down, saying it was doctored and it's making her look drunk. It makes this politician look bad. We have to do something about it. And now here's Joe Biden, who makes himself out to be a rambling idiot every time he opens his mouth. And when Joe Biden makes himself look stupid, well, Twitter just had to step in. We can't have Joe Biden looking dumb. These people don't even place politics in front of policy. It's all team-based. They just care about their team. It's not even about policies or making life better for anyone. They just want to make sure that Team Blue wins. And to be honest, some people on the right are just as bad. Oh, as long as Team Red wins, we're all right in the end. As if it isn't clear at this point that both sides are controlled by the same entity. It is to me anyway. Just take example of the fact that despite all of their miscommunications, despite all of their disputes, the one thing they could agree on, of course, besides sending money to another country and or faceless corporations, they were able to agree upon adding in $25 million for salary increases and expenses for members of the House of Representatives. It says here in the updated House bill, salaries and expenses for House of Representatives, for an additional amount for salaries and expenses, $25 million to remain available until September 30th, 2021, except that $5 million shall remain available until expended for necessary expenses of the House of Representatives to prevent, prepare for, and respond to, redacted, to be allocated in accordance with a spend plan submitted to the Committee of Appropriations of the House of Representatives by the Chief Administrative Officer and approved by such committee, provided that such amount is designed by the Congress as being for an emergency requirement pursuant to Section 251B2A1 of the Balanced Budget and Emergency Deficient Control Act of 1985. No doubt this is what they had to negotiate. This is what they had to put in there. There was no legitimate dispute about not including the Green New Deal. It had everything to do with giving the people on Capitol Hill a little bit more money. God forbid, while they're able to work right now, and the rest of us aren't. A large portion of us are not allowed to work. But they decided, we deserve $25 more million. Just when you think these people couldn't get any worse, just when you think, I can't stand these people, they go and do something like this, while the rest of us are not allowed to earn a paycheck to pay all of the bills, which are still accumulating, by the way. These people who add nothing to society, what they do is they add the illusion that they are a benefit to society. That's really their job after all. Sow division and then pretend to be a solution for said division. And these people, they have the absolute gall to stick all of their hands in the cookie jar while the rest of us aren't allowed to even eat regular food. You have Mike Pence shilling for McDonald's.
We heard that McDonald's is now offering curbside delivery to truckers who are unable to use the drive-thru to pick up a Big Mac.
While at the same time, McDonald's was refusing to pay out paid sick time to all of their employees who are unable to work. And more than that, they actually lobbied Congress during the writing of the bill in order to avoid having to pay any extra money. So for Mike Pence to give them a shout out during the White House briefing was just strange. But this is the world we live in now, folks. Remember, corporations are people too. Not that you'll ever see them held to the same standard you and I are ever held to. Across the internet, you've no doubt seen praise for random corporations and politicians for saying, hey, these people are doing what they can. Right? Bernie's been fighting all of his life for us. For us, right? Not for him. No, he's not self-serving at all. Or they'll bring up some corporation that decided to pander to them and say, look, they understand us. When the reality is, they couldn't care less. I can't really pinpoint the exact moment that people stopped being able to sense BS when it came up to them. But it used to be that the average person would see this sort of thing and see it immediately for what it was. Some businessman, some soulless charlatan, was just doing a song and dance in order to get you to buy their probably low-quality product. People have become so invested in their identities that they are unable to see through the fog, unable to see through the song and dance. Instead of feeling pandered to, they feel catered to. To them, it's an evolution of ideology. Hey, look at this company finally stepping up for what I believe in. When in reality, the only language that business speaks is the color green. Don't think for a second that they actually care about anything they say they do.